Hello everyone. It is a privilege to be in the dynamic city of Hong Kong and to be able to moderate this panel today with you. I'm joined by three distinguished guests, and today we're going to be discussing how digital assets are impacting the traditional finance sector. Before we get into it, maybe I'll start with asking you to introduce yourselves. Eugene, do you want to start and pass it on?
Sure, thank you. My name is Eugene Chang. I'm the Chief Institutional Business Officer for the OSL. So OSL has been the first license change in Hong Kong. We've been in the industry for 6-7 years. So really look forward to share a lot of insight with the panelists here.
Hi everybody, my name is Michael Lau. I'm with Bullish, Senior Vice President, Group Head of Business Development. And I also wear a second hat, which is as Chairman for Consensus Hong Kong. Bullish is an institutional regulated exchange. I've been with the firm for about 5 years. But about a year ago, we also made the acquisition of CoinDesk, which probably is a more well-known name. And excited to kind of continue building out both businesses as financial services as well as information services business. So excited to be here and also be part of this panel.
Yep, and I'm Samuel. I'm from the HashKey Group, and I'm their head of compliance. And HashKey also is one of the 3 licensed exchange in Hong Kong now. And of course, we are not only offering exchange service, also tokenization and also fund business as well. And for myself, I was position myself still a new joiner in the crypto industry since I spent more than a decade in the traditional finance world. So it's exciting to be here and listen to you guys to share more.
Thank you, Samuel. So earlier today, we heard about how Hong Kong is supporting this asset class. And I think we can start with maybe some questions around that. And particularly, how is it leading to institutional adoption in digital assets? And what are some of the unique properties that the city offers to grow this asset class? Do you want to go first?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, very excited to be here. So I think in the 2024, like this year, there's a lot of discussions about digital asset, particularly tokenization, stablecoin. So it's been advancing we never seen before. There is a framework discussions with a global regulator. And I think what really excites me most about the development we're seeing, particularly in Hong Kong, is like the regulator really proactively working hard to bring everybody together, come up with some really action plan, and try to bring the whole traditional assets on blockchain. So Hong Kong, for instance, the Hong Kong MA actually work together with the SFC on this ensemble sandbox. So they bring in a lot of financial institutions and also the crypto native company infrastructure like us. We all joined together to come up with a different kind of project, particularly about tokenization, e-Hong Kong dollar. So for OSL, we are the part of 2 initiatives that relate to the money market fund. But I think the really important thing is like with the support from the regulator, you're able to work very closely with all these different financial institutions to explore these new opportunities. I think that spirit really, I think like excites me most, because I think that really need to bring everybody work together, so that we really can in the future there will be a mass adoption of the digital asset,
So a little bit of the story. When I started in February 2020, I was asked, what are we going to be doing in terms of building an exchange? And I was like thinking about this quite a bit, and after spending a decade in traditional finance, I drew a chart, and it had 3 bars on it. The first one was the composition of institutional to retail for the New York Stock Exchange, which was 200 years old. And it was like maybe like 80% institutional. The next bar was Chinese stock exchanges, roughly about 67 years old, and probably roughly around 65 to 70% institutional at that time. And this is on the back of having worked for a brokerage that was owned by a state-owned enterprise. And then I had the third chart was crypto. And I think the best guess at that point in time was that there was less than 1% of that being driven by institutions. And I think there was a general sense that if you looked at kind of the pattern of history and kind of how, from a first principles perspective, risk was understood to be something that needed to be professionally managed, on a first principles basis, people started seeing the need for intermediaries, and they started seeing the need for professional asset managers, and all of a sudden they started to form all these different pockets that we often would recognize as TradFi, asset managers, brokerages, prime brokers, exchanges, et cetera. And I said to the team, hey, I think this is where we're headed to. It's going to be one where if we're going to see this asset class grow, it's going to be institutional adoption. But shortly after, when we started talking about it amongst ourselves, we realized no one else really cared about that at the time. But there was one thing where people started asking the question, when do you think institutional adoption will happen? And I think it was back in 2021, I said on a similar panel, regulatory clarity brings confidence. And I think that's what we're now seeing here in Hong Kong, which is fantastic, right? The idea that there's clarity for people to be able to interact with credible counterparties, to be able to bring liquidity into an ecosystem that already has trillions of assets sitting here in this jurisdiction, I think is a really exciting moment to be.
Yeah, and I think I also agree that from what just mentioned about a little bit of my own story also, is before I joined the crypto world, I also think about, after a decade of, working for the traditional finance, so what should be my next move? Should I stay in the traditional finance or move on to the more exciting crypto world? So after I, saw the development in the recent years and also, the successful licensing, the regime from SFC and also OSL also getting the license. So I would say, let's go and try. As a compliance officer, the next stop should be a regulated and licensed exchange. So that's why, I put my career, the next milestone into crypto. But regarding to Hong Kong, I would say, this is a really positive, signal from the message from the government and also from the regulator as well. If you guys have chance to join the FinTech Week yesterday, actually they already let I know the roadmap for the not only the crypto exchange but also custodian service, also the OTC, etc. And also for Hong Kong itself, it has a very strong foundation in the traditional finance world. So a lot of regulations, control, actually is based on the good stuff from the traditional world, and now trying to bend into the Web3. So this is a very unique advantages for Hong Kong, and also Hong Kong, especially within the regime itself. For example, like the cohort wallet and the segregation of the client assets also is, some of them are initiated from the Hong Kong itself. So this also make Hong Kong is a very unique position in the whole regulatory regime as well.
Yeah, thank you. I think that leads quite nicely into my next question, which is, you all represent companies that are very innovative, obviously, because you are in this space. What type of unique advantages are you incorporating within your business? And then how do you think that traditional financial services can adopt digital assets and lead to sort of better products and services? Do you want to start, Michael?
Sure. So, I mean, from our perspective, I think the fact that we were able to build from scratch allowed us the ability to not have to worry about heritage systems and heritage infrastructure. And I think, a lot of people that are building in this space share the same thing. But for a message to TradFi, there's certainly an element of, hey, like, technology is something to embrace. It's not something to fear. I think that there's a lot of times a worry about displacing, your own, investments and the amount of effort that you spend to build a particular, business model, et cetera. But the truth is, if you don't actually try to innovate, you're going to be disintermediated anyways. And so I think there's certainly an element of having not just simply the technology innovation, but also having that mindset to be able to have that courage as a business leader to say, okay, I'm going to try something different. And we've seen a lot of great TradFi companies pivot over the years as well. But it's certainly that element, and I think that's probably what speaks more to it from, I guess, practitioners in the stage as opposed to just simply talking about one technological innovation.
Yeah. Eugene?
So since the two panelists also share your own story, so I kind of also feel obligated to start a question with my own story as well. A lot of you probably know me, my previous job, which I was a head of institutions for Bybit. So in the last 3 years, I helped Bybit to build all the institution department. So for Bybit, as it changes, it's very focused on getting retail. And also we're working very closely with the institution like market maker and also like the partner like Circle, right? So that come back to like OSL. So the OSL as a licensed company exchanges infrastructure in Hong Kong. We are at a unique position, actually can work together with a lot of different kind of financial institutions who are also licensed in Hong Kong or in other places. So we work closely with the local broker. We work closely with the bank, asset management, right, to launch the ETF. So so that's back to the question, the OSL with the license, we actually, the way how we see ourselves is we are the enabler. So we enable a lot of financial institutions, they can move their business into a more efficient way, which is the blockchain, right? Can launch a lot of with the new technology, with a lot of more efficient way to conduct the business in the near future. And then we believe the OSL has a very unique position to make this come true.
And I think for, some very unique features also, or product or services in the Web3 world actually is very interesting, to the TradFi as well. I'll make an example, for example, the staking business. Before we explain to the regulator, they will think that, staking, what is it? Is it kind of like a collection regime and things like that? Is it something evil? But staking, it also is a very unique product in the crypto world. Actually, it's just a node validation. So there are a lot of advantage in the crypto world. After we can understand and become a useful use case, it will benefit the industry. And in particular, we're saying that the crypto world is one of the tools that can grow wealth, can create wealth for our customers as well. So it is important that how we can leverage on the good things about the Web3 world and bend into the traditional world. And in particular now we're saying about how to tokenize the traditional product like the fund and things like that. But I would say this is only the beginning, because now we're just trying to create one more channel to sell the traditional product. But in the next stage, we will, from the beginning, when we are created such fund, we will say, let's do it by tokenize the whole product instead of having the traditional channel and to distribute all this kind of like a wealth product as well.
Yeah. So obviously this is a Circle panel, so I do have to ask this question, which is how are you thinking about incorporating stablecoins within your business, and what do you think the potential impact is going to be in the future? And maybe Samuel, we can start with you to change things up a bit. I
definitely think it's a very important element in this world. Also, I just want to refer to the quote from FinTech Week yesterday. The Hong Kong MA keep mention about trade finance. So one of the trade finance pain point actually is how to make sure the currency is stabilized and make sure that the trade can be smoothly done. So stablecoin actually can act as the bread and butter for this type of transaction. And I can also see there are a lot of demands from our clients, institutional clients, to use stablecoins as their, settlement tools as well. And I can see, throughout the world, the trend is growing a big time. And I think Circle, as such a big brand name, and one of the important, as a compliance officer, is the control at the back. And one of the things that, as a compliance person or the regulator really concerned about is the control or the risk behind. Is that do they have robust control or policy and procedure to make sure this asset is there when the client going to withdraw from their accounts. So this is also really important. So I think stablecoin in coming years will be one of the key development tools that within the Web3 world.
Thank you. So how am I incorporated? We already are incorporated. I think that's probably a good plug for partners at Circle. I checked the last 24 hours out of the $2 billion volume that we've done, 80% of it was on a Circle USDC quoted pair. So we certainly believe in stablecoins. We think that our institutions have told us it's a better way to settle, more efficient way to settle, and it serves particularly those institutions that have a high velocity in terms of the way that they're needing to move capital and assets, and to be able to sweat the most out of that.
And of course, we also already incorporated the stablecoins in our business. Yeah, I think the stablecoin is something that we basically work like day to day, night and night. I think the question would be, what impact do we see the potential to have? What I see, the stablecoin actually it will become capabilities in the futures, which means like if you can only use stablecoin able to settle everything instantly, right? What I see the potential is like in the future, how we as OSL, how we are able to further integrate the stablecoin, the capability of stablecoin into the everydays of the financial service, even every day in the trade financial service, right? So basically, like people, if they don't use stablecoin, they will lose their edge, lost their competitiveness. So we see that's the potential that the stablecoin able to bring into the not only Hong Kong but the global market.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface, aren't we? We have a couple of minutes left, and I'd like to end by asking you to bring out your crystal ball and to make some predictions over the next, in terms of the impact on digital assets over the next 3 to 5 years. What impact do you think it can potentially have? We've got 2 minutes left, maybe some short, sharp answers from each of you. Do you want to start, Michael?
I think that in the next 3 to 5 years, we will see more things tokenized with much better articulation around the use cases, which I think is a good thing. I hope that it expands beyond just simply monetary stuff into the IP world a bit more. But yeah, I think it's very promising. And I mean, I'm kind of by default bullish, so yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah. And I also think that there will be huge development within the digital assets world. In particular, AI plus digital assets is a perfect match. And I think there's a lot of pain point, improve the efficiency. And I would foresee maybe later on we do not have a so-called clearing time. After 4, we just cannot do anything. It will be more like a real 24/7 or model on any type of business settlement, like buying in and out and things like that. So we'll be more crypto native, not only at the front, but also from the heart of each of the products.
So my wish list in the next 3 to 5 years, I would wish there will be more mass adoptions of a blockchain as a technology. It can be, let's say, more than trillions, 100 trillion assets actually settle on the blockchain, right? It can be a stock, can be bonds, can be a private equity, can be even a real estate house, right? Everything settled on the blockchain, and then the blockchain can provide the transparency, the fairness to this value of an asset, right? I think in that world, I think there's a lot of things can be very different as today.
Yeah.
So you,
Yeah, I guess just add one more, and hopefully we'll see, Circle can, the USDC can offer to retail client in Hong Kong City.
well, that ends our panel. I think the final point was that we're going to see $100 trillion worth of assets settled on blockchain technology within 5 years. So thank you very much, guests, and we look forward to speaking to you all outside.
Thank you.
Thank you.